Like, you just saw a picture, just short minutes. It's going to be a minute. You might even not be sleeping, or you might be sitting down and feel like you just dozed off. Within a short, you just saw something being played, just like a flash. And it does happen. And that's what I just want to buttress what you said.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. Through ordained situations or circumstances, God can take you by or through a happening to give you a clear direction for life. There are instances whereby something's just happened, and at that point, you might not really understand. But after that, you will get the understanding like, oh, so could this be why this happened? Have you ever experienced that? Like something happened and it looks so normal. But after some time, you begin to, maybe perhaps when the Spirit of God begins to minister to you, and you begin to see a reason why that situation happened. Do I have a witness in the house? Through prophetic utterances and confirmations. However, believers are cautioned. If you are with your pen, you might want to underline the word cautioned against living at the mercy of prophecy through diverse means as deemed fit by God. Nowadays, it's common that we have Christians who have not been able to nurture themselves to a level of hearing from God as a person. We are all children of God. Does God have grandchildren? We all have equal access to God. This is not to say that we neglect the place of prophecies. No, they are the gifts that God have blessed us with. So we have an advantage of prophecy. But it is totally wrong for you to plan your life and be totally dependent on prophecies from prophets. Like, it's so serious that I haven't met people, but I've heard that some people even pay people to fast and pray for them. Have you heard that? We are children of God. The same access I have to God is the same access pastor have to God. It only depends on how you utilize that access. The prophets you are running after to seek God on your behalf and to give you words of wisdom and knowledge, I am not saying it is wrong. Like I said, they are the gifts God have blessed us with. But it is wrong when you totally depend on them. And you as a child of God, you don't even have the ability to hear from God. You know, starting this class, I try to be practical as possible so that it's not as if, oh, it's just scripture, scripture, scripture. These things are practical. People hear from God. It is possible. You only need to fine-tune your spirit man to be able to receive from God. If you have a Bluetooth on your phone and you are trying to send something, if the phone you are trying to send something to, Bluetooth is not on, will that phone receive anything? No. We do not see how Bluetooth operates. Perhaps the AI guys might understand better. I mean, the artificial intelligence guys, I don't know how it works. But then we believe that once I on my Bluetooth and my husband on his own phone Bluetooth or Sister T on his own Bluetooth, we are able to send pictures or anything. So as a child of God, try as much as possible to have an intimate, a personal, a rich relationship with God, such that God can speak to you. You know, while we were previewing this lesson, I gave a funny joke. I said back in my undergraduate, you know, as a student fellowship, we are all at a particular age where we are all trusting God. Especially, I went to a school that spent 5 years in the university. So, I mean, if you are a female at the end of your 5 years, you should have a brother that is saying who is there and who is not there. So, you know, it's common in the fellowship that everyone begins to trust God for like, oh, who is this brother, who is this brother? And there was a day I told myself, my mom is late. And I was like, hey, it's common that when people want to marry, they say they bring pictures of 3, 4 brothers and they give it to their mom to take it to prophets. And even now, I don't have mother now. Who will help me take my own to prophets now? So I have to have a meeting with myself that, well, Rosalind, you are supposed to know God by yourself. Choosing my spouse in life has to be on my conviction and confirmation from God. I do not have any prophet where I'm going to take Dr. Mashebinu's picture to and say, hey, Joe, help me look at it. Could this be the brother? You're planning to get a new job, you're planning to relocate, you want to jackpot, you want to do different things that has to do with your life. I'm not saying you should not seek the counsel of prophets, pastors, and everyone that is spiritual authority over you. I'm only saying that have a place of understanding and knowing what God is saying to you. Look, people, once you have a personal relationship of God and you can hear from Him, any other prophecy, words of wisdom, words of knowledge from any spiritual authority is supposed to be a confirmation. Do we all agree to that? If a man of God is telling you, Rosalind, I've seen that, oh, in the next few years you're going to be a professor in the energy department, that should be a confirmation to me. It should, fine. It should be something that God has already told me or is also going to speak to me about. So please, if you're not going to leave this house with any other thing, leave this house knowing that I am a child of God. I have an access to God. I can hear God. I have the mind of Christ, and I